Question we just got on social media that I think a lot of people could benefit from. When listening to an audiobook, what are some of the ways to remember important content when you're not able to write it down because you're walking, you're driving, you're cleaning the house, etc.? Welcome back to the Kwik Brain Podcast. I'm your host and your brain coach, Jim Kwik. And this show, as you know, is all about brain optimization, accelerated learning, mastering your mindset, and so much more. So listening to audiobooks is a fantastic way to consume information while you're doing something else, like walking or working out or driving, to help you to remember important content without writing it down. You can employ several strategies, and I'm pulling from our flagship program, our #1 best-selling program called Kwik Recall. Kwik Recall is a 30-day master your memory course. And so these are some of the ideas. Now, these are tips. The course is more for training and implementation, if that makes sense. You can find out more about it at kwikrecall.com. And join our community. We have students in every country in the world, and it's absolutely one of my favorite programs because there is no learning without remembering. So here are some of the things to think about when you want to remember what you're listening to. #1, repetition. All right, so that's kind of an obvious one. Listen to the key sections more than once. Tony Robbins says repetition is the mother of skill. Repeating things and reviewing it can be very, very important because it reinforces your memory by solidifying the neural pathways associated with the information. If a particular segment stands out, replay it a few times to enhance your retention. #2, verbal summarization. What does that mean? After listening to a chapter in an audiobook, or you could apply this towards podcasts, maybe a significant segment, try summarizing the key points out loud. Out loud is the key. Articulating what you've learned helps in processing and retaining the information. #3, teach. I talk about this a lot, the explanation effect. When you teach something, you get to learn it twice. So having the intention of teaching what you've just learned. If you're able to make a phone call or talk to someone else after you listen to your audiobook or podcast, try to explain the concept you just learned. Teaching information is an extremely powerful method to deepen your understanding and your retention. The next one I would recommend, which Kwik Recall is full of them, this course of mental memory mastery, is mnemonic devices. We have over a dozen different mnemonic strategies, and these are memory strategies. Creating mental associations. It could be as simple as acronyms that help you to remember specific details. So for example, if there are several points or steps in a process from a book that you're reading, a health, a relationship, wellness book, brain book, try to form a word from the first letters of each point. It's a great brain exercise also as well. Another technique or principle is visual imagery. What does that mean? Visualize the information. Einstein said imagination is more powerful than knowledge. So for example, if the book describes a process or an event, picture it happening as you listen. Very simple, right? Creating mental images can make the information more sticky, more unforgettable. And then something I do when I'm listening to something, I'm trying to link what's outside from this audiobook to what's inside. Really, the key to learning is linking something you don't yet know to something you already know, to some kind of existing knowledge. When you connect new information to something you already know, the more connections you can make between new ideas and existing memories, the better you're going to be able to recall that new information. Do you want to be able to remember confidently the information that you hear on this podcast? Do you want to improve your memory to easily and confidently be able to remember names and faces, client information, give a speech without notes, learn another language, remember what you read, and so much more? There's a solution, and I call it your Kwik Recall. In just 15 minutes a day, for 30 days, I've designed the ultimate course, how to unlock your Kwik Recall. Just go to kwikbrain.com/recall Enter podcast15 for your immediate discount as a thank you for listening to our show. For audiobooks, something that you could do that a lot of our clients do also as well is using audio bookmarks. What are they? Some audiobook players allow you to set bookmarks or add notes with voice commands. Utilizing this feature can help you mark sections to revisit later when you aren't driving and where you can take notes. I would also recommend, as part of your learning process when you're listening, is reflective pauses. Whenever possible, take brief pauses. You could just pause the audiobook to reflect on what you just heard. Even a short pause to think about the content can aid significantly in the consolidation of information into your long-term memory. Something I always do when I'm listening to audiobook or podcasts for something that's very vital and important is I schedule a review. What does that mean? Plan to listen to the audiobook maybe even more than once. A second or third pass can help you catch details you missed the first time, especially if you're doing something else, and reinforce what you've already learned. And when you incorporate these strategies into your audiobook or your podcast listening routine, you can enhance your retention of the material even when you're unable to jot down those notes actively. I hope some of these tips are useful for you. Do me a favor, take a screenshot and post it on social media, wherever you're consuming this, tag me in it, and share in that one thing you're gonna do to better retain and recall and remember the things that you hear. Take one of these strategies and put it to use. One of the things that I do when I'm listening to something is I'm obsessed by these 3 questions. How can I use this when I'm listening? How can I use this? When will I use this? And why must I use this? How can I use this? Why must I use it? It'll give me some motivation and some drive, some purpose, because without reasons, you won't get the reward. And then when? Remember, scheduling your review and asking yourself these probing questions, because questions really are the answer. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Make sure you join our YouTube where we put the extended version, 1.5 million subscribers. Please join our community there. Leave a comment, like, share, and most of all, teach it to somebody else. So many people listen to our podcast and they start from episode 1 and go to close to 400 episodes. It's like an online academy for free, filling in the blanks of our education system, the things that I wish I would have learned when I was going through school that could better prepare you for the challenges that you have in school, in your career, and also in life. But remember, with challenge comes change, that there's a version of yourself that's patiently waiting. The goal, we show up every single day for ourselves until we're introduced. I'm your brain coach, Jim Kwik. Thank you so much for consuming this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember to always be limitless.